Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and in this video we'll get through with mounting the Z-axis equipment on the gantry, and even make a start on doing the wiring. Of course, at the end we'll hear from Bubba, and everything ought to be just lovely. So instead of boring you with what I got to say, we'll knock it off. I'm not in a talkative mood anyway. It's still round, so that tells me that the 4 of those will do good enough. I know it looks like I'm crazy, and I may be, but the way I lift that table right now lets it tilt over this way, that way, depending on where it's heaviest at. And it doesn't have to be much heavier on one of those sides to make it tilt. What I need is 4 equal length straps, chains, something to come from each corner and be hooked with a little ring on my pulley, or my hook for the lift, and then it'll stay level, pretty sure. And that's what I was testing, was see just how much could this little ring take. Well, I'm right at 200 pounds. That's a lot of fat, but I'm right up there, and it held it without any kind of problem. So there you go. 4 of them should hold, like 800 pounds, easy, or more. Okay, so this is the last belt to add on. By my calculations, I should have a little left over here. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully this belt is long enough. It feels like it's in there good and tight. They'll run it around with those spools, and it will have to go. We'll have to go through the middle of this thing. And hopefully I've left enough room everything to work together. I did find one little error. I left a hole here to put the wrench in to tighten the wheel on the back, the one with the cam on it. Well, I've got a screw running right down through the middle of everything, right in front of that hole. So I can't tighten that screw with the cam on it, because to get it there, I had to use a pair of pliers. Oh, as long as it's tight, right? Alright, so this guy goes right there, and he's just barely got enough room. It would be better if I moved the motor back about 1/4 of an inch or so. It's going to have enough room to work, you can see that, but still it's not perfectly straight, so I'm going to have to do some adjusting there. But first I'm going to hook the belt on, get it nice and tight, and then I'll move the motor back a little bit. It's all going to work out. It's just going to be a pain getting there. You guys can take a nap while I sweat. Actually, I don't have to move the motor or anything. I had the belt hooked under the wheel over there underneath the motor. That's why we had the misalignment. It's all straight now, so back to the final screwing down of the hardware. Look at that, I got about 3 foot of belt left over. I got enough I can make me a belt and we'll go around my waist. Okay, so it's time to make the coupling, and I'll center bore this and clean this up. It's within 2 or 3 thousandths of centered in the chuck. I didn't feel like getting really involved there. And it's a good thing I double checked what I was doing. The motor shaft is not 8 millimeters, it's 10 millimeters. So I'm going to have a 10 millimeter hole. Now I'll have to bore that because I don't have any metric drill bits. So we'll just get on with it and make us a nice little coupling here. I won't take it out. I'll do all the boring here, and then I'll come around the other side and make the little thin piece that's going to be about 200 thousandths. That'll go inside the coupling. We're going to drill it a bit before we get to the boring part. Not sure anybody likes a boring video, so it's quite fun. Alright, well, my calculations, that's 3/4 of an inch deep, which is every bit as much as I need. Now all we've got to do is get a small boring bar and clean that thing up. And it's definitely going to be small. You can see that. So this is the frustrating part of the problem. With what drill bits I've got, using fractional bits, numbered grit bits, letter bits, I'm still 4 thousandths too small on the hole, and up to now I haven't found a boring bar that wants to go down in there without cutting the other side of the hole first or afterwards, whatever. So I got to look around here and see if I can come up with something, an old broken high-speed steel something or whatever that I can put in a tool holder and cram up in there. Brian Stenger gave me some adjustable reamers one time. I'm going to look into that and see if I can do the job with that. Just keep looking, you'll find something, you know. And I did. And there it is, right there. A little short boring bar with just the right width. I'm going to have to feel around to find the side of this thing, and then we'll give it the tiniest little bit of a pass and check it with the motor. Alright, so I got a pin, a gauge pin, that's pretty much the same size as the motor shaft, and I'm using it to check the size, and it goes in a little ways. So I'm just going to make a few spring passes to make sure it slides in easy, and then I'll cut the small part back here, which, you know, be tricky enough in its own self. I'm using a parting tool to narrow this down close to the 0.199 inches that it needs to be for a 1/2 inch in length. It's removing a lot of metal real quick. When I get through with that, I'll wake you up again. Alright, so here we go. This guy fits the motor on one end, and it fits the coupling on the other end. Got to put a set screw or two in this thing, also known as grub screws. A couple of those can't hurt anything, and then we'll be ready set. Well, here we are on another day, and I've got the coupling fastened to the motor. Got the motor mounted here, so things will work. This is taking today's work. I didn't do any video on any of it because I was just trying to hurry up and get something done. That's the last piece of hardware to bolt on up here. Now in the future I'll have to put some stuff I'll hang down below to support the metal that's going to be cut, or supposedly going to be cut. Maybe I should say allegedly going to be cut. But I've changed my work schedule here. I get up in the morning as early as I can, which is 8 or 8:30, and I come out here and work till noon. Then I go for practice. I can do that because there's a wind that blows through there and all. So, but I didn't do any video because I was in a hurry to try to get this motor mounted on here, and it's good and solid now. I had to machine the slots bigger in the back of the bracket and drill some holes, and I had to make an upright bracket to put it on. So all that took me all the time I had. It's already 84 in here. Yesterday I worked until about 12:30 and it was 88 degrees. So it'll probably start rising pretty rapid for the rest of the day. And I keep saying I'm going to come out and work at night, like after 7, but I never do. So this will take as long as it takes, and I'll be out here a couple hours a day. Alright, so all of the up on top work has been completed. And now to what I call a more difficult stage, we're going to start the wiring. So before I start the wiring, I got to put stuff in the little box, equipment box. So let's take a look at that. This is my equipment box, and it's got these little guys here in a bag along with some screws. I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to do with this stuff, so I'm going to put it back in the bag, and I'll figure it out later. Maybe it won't be too late. Who knows? I figure out a lot of things too late. I can't believe how perfectly I cut that edge too long. But I mean, it's such a straight cut. I laid a straight edge up there. I bet there's not even a 64th of an inch of curve in the middle of it. It's just the best freehand I've ever cut anything in my life. Too bad I got to cut it off. The next one probably won't be too good. I've got a fan to go in the bottom of this thing. I think I'll mount it internally this time instead of on the outside like the last one. And I left the stupid thing upstairs in the closet. Be right back. And those of you who are fans of the symmetry, you're going to say, oh, that's not on the center. But I wanted to move it over so I had room to run wires in and out and stuff like that, It'll just look the way it looks. It's going to be on the inside anyway. And a little packaging tape's good to have when you're on something to stay still and not move. And I want this thing to stay still so that I can drill some little holes. Alright, so that should have enough holes to locate it. Now I'll take it over the drill press and drill out some holes behind it for the thing to suck air through. Or I may just cut a hole. I don't know. Probably I'll drill out holes. When Radio Shack went broke, one of my brothers was wandering in his local Radio Shack store and thought baby brother needed some fans, so he bought me 2 or 3. They've been upstairs in the closet since, but they still work. There's an arrow on these things, shows which way the airflow is. If you pay attention to it, you'll get the air going in the right direction. Unlike me, I've got it going the wrong way. I'll turn the fan over. I lied to you guys. There wasn't any arrow showing the direction of airflow. It was just an arrow showing which way the blade spins. Of course, you could deduce the airflow direction from that. Anyway, now it's sucking from here and blowing in there, and everything's going to be lovely. Alright, after a long time drilling holes and tightening down screws that just barely fit the slots and stuff, I've got these things fastened in pretty good, and now all I need is the little breakout box. It's going to sit in here and direct the power in all kind of different directions to the motors. So, and I think probably I might need a little power strip in here just to be sure that I don't have to have a one wire coming in, you know, and no big messy looking stuff. It'll be sort of messy looking when I get through. It always is, but I don't want to start out that way. Well, this is where I'm going to put this thing on hold. I've worked on it every day for this week, and I'm tired of fooling with it, so I'm going to do other things today. But I do have to hang the thing back up in the ceiling. The boss lady's tired of the truck being out at night. Now every time I crank it up, it's heavier on one end or the other, and it tilts and twists and moves. And I thought, well, what if I had a fastener from every corner to meet out in the middle on those rings? So I bought 4 of these ratchet tie-down straps at Wally World, and I'm going to try to string them out and hook them on there. See if I can hang it level. Probably won't work, but we'll find out. Well, there you go. Still off balance. I guess I should have figured if you're lifting around a single pivot point in the middle, it's not going to stay level. I got to work out a better way. I don't know what it's going to be, but got to work out a better way. Some way to lift it up from the 4 corners with 4 different cables or something. We'll get there one way or another someday. Well, Bubba was down to Tractor Supply there to get him some dog food, and he got him a 50-pound bag, and he's standing up there in line at the register. And this lady turns around and says, "Oh, you got a dog?" Now, Bubba just hates dumb questions something often. He says, "No, ma'am." He says, "I'm trying the dog diet 2nd time around." She said, "Oh, how's that?" He said, "Well," he says, "you just put some kibbles in your pocket. Every time you feel a little hungry, you just eat 2 or 3 of them." He says, "Fact of the matter is," he says, "I done lost 10 pounds before I woke up in the hospital, all these tubes running in and out of me." She says, "Oh my gosh, was that from eating the dog food?" He says, "No, ma'am." He says, "I stepped off the curb to sniff this Irish setter's rear, and I got run over by a car." Now, poor old Bubba, he's banned from Tractor Supply there. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.